There are some things in this world that go way beyond human understanding. Things that cannot be explained, things that most people don't want to know about. That is where we come.
Do you know what the most frightening thing in the world is? It's fear.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
I'm afraid!
Don't be afraid!
No. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
What an excellent day for an exorcism.
It's all true. The boogeyman is real, and you found him.
When there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth.
I see dead people.
Listen to them. Children of the night. What music they make.
They're here.
And good evening and welcome back to Ghost Frickin' Talkin'. That's right, you have reached Ghost Frickin' Talkin', your paranormal podcast and YouTube channel. We are here live once again from Wolf Hollow in Rockford, Illinois, hometown of Ghost Frickin' Talkin'. I'm actually alone here today, but not really alone. Usually we have my co-host Trent. He is out filming at Midway Village today for a school thing. So I actually sent him there with a EVP recorder because I know Midway's got some stuff going on there. So I'm like, dude, if you get some downtime, just go in with your EVP recorder and do some stuff there. And then Nessie is home with her kids. So ladies and gentlemen, you just get me, the sexy Nicolicious here. We are going to be actually interviewing a local paranormal team, the UAW local
1268 Paranormal Committee.
Oh, there we go. See, that's why I got you guys here. And I'm gonna tell you guys, I've already forgot your names. I think it's Mary.
Yes.
All right, and Brian.
Correct.
Oh, look at that! It is my day, ladies and gentlemen. And we are here to talk the spooky today because we are doing the 31 days of Halloween where every day of October we are dropping a brand new podcast.
Oh, nice.
And ladies and gentlemen, I am only 3 days in, and I'm already stressing about it. We started off, we have a friend that's an artist. He actually dropped a whole line of brand new stickers on his Etsy page. So if you guys go to Etsy shop Mr. Hinkle Draws, you guys can see these awesome stickers that he has done. He did a line of horror movies figures. He's got 10 guys out there. He's got I shouldn't say guys because he also has awesome female characters like Reagan from Exorcist and Carrie.
Say that, Carrie.
So if you guys want, you guys can go order yours at Etsy shop Mr. Hinkle Draws. All right, so we got that part out of the way. I apologize to Martha. You guys can't see Martha because my camera's a little high, but Martha's here with me. So she is a human skull, like an actual human skull. So if you guys have never,
I was gonna say the teeth on that skull, like the normal.
So they're like perfect. And
yeah. So if you guys have never been around or touched an actual human skull, this is Martha. We actually named her because my girlfriend gave it to me, and she's like, "This would look really cool for your guys' podcast for the layout." And when she gave it to me, I'm like, "Well, what's the history?" And she goes, "Well, I really don't know the total history on it, but she didn't have a name or where it came from, but they do know that it's a female skull." So when we were coming up for a name, I'm like, well, she has to have a name. And for some reason in the back of my mind, I kept hearing the name Martha. And so that's the name that I was going to give her. And then my son, I'm like, well, what do you think we should name her? And he goes, I like the name Martha.
Oh.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So not only did I come, I didn't even pre-warn him about any of the names I was thinking about, that he came up with it at the same time that I did. So maybe she linked up with us somewhere along the line to where she's like, I want to be Martha.
Right.
You know. So whether her actual name in real life was Martha or not, we don't know. But she is now part of the Ghost Frickin' Talking crew. But we are here to talk to you guys today with the spooky. And you guys, do you guys just usually investigate locally?
No, we've been branching out more.
Okay.
You gotta go where the ghosts are.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't come to you.
Well, technically, I have a very active house.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We document. We usually try to start all of our podcasts because we drop a weekly podcast, and our first 10-15 minutes is just documenting what we've had happen in our house. Like just the other day, my front door was locked, locked. And I'm working from home, and I kind of, out of the corner of my eye, I see the front door kind of open, slowly. And I kind of look over, I'm like, what the hell is that? And I'm like, and I get up, and then I start running through my head. I'm like, what? Did I go outside this morning?
Right.
I'm like, the kids aren't home. They were with their moms, so it was just me and my cats. and I'm like, I did not go outside. This door was closed. The last time I closed it was when my girlfriend left the night before, and I asked her, I'm like, you heard me lock the door and everything. She's like, yeah, I heard you slam the door and lock it. And then the door was still locked when it was opened. So I went up to the door and I was jiggling the handle. I'm like, it's still locked. Huh. So it just slowly started opening.
Well, they were polite enough to re-lock the door for you.
Yeah, and it's not the first time. It actually is not the first time it happened either. Because my sister was dropping off my kids one day, and she calls me up. She goes, your front door is wide open. I'm like, what? So she came in and looked around, and she didn't see anything and dropped the kids off. And I got home later that night, and I'm a big fan of the Spirit Box. I don't know if you guys are Spirit Box fans.
Mm-hmm.
SB11. That's what I have. I swear by the SB11. So I got the SB11 out, and I'm asking it questions, and I go, who opened the front door today? And a voice came over and says, I did it.
Oh.
Yep. So, we get activity like that all the time. Mm-hmm. We get stuff moved throughout the house.
Put a GoPro on that camera so you can get footage of that.
Oh,
on the door.
Yeah, really cool. Definitely. Yeah. That's the thing. People are like, oh, you don't have any evidence of it. I'm like, if you go to our YouTube channel, we actually have a few videos out that way. You guys can go and check out some of the activity that's actually been in the house. I swear that I had an apparition kind of dive into the camera on me, because I heard a voice say it was the dog, and I thought it was my son saying it. I go, what did you say? You say it was the dog? And he goes, I didn't say anything. And I kind of had the camera towards him, and something kind of dipped into the camera and went right back out.
Like a shadow?
Yeah,
or?
like a shadow. So if you guys want to go and check that out, go and check it out at our YouTube channel at Ghost Frickin' Talkin'. But you guys, what is the scariest place that you guys have ever been to?
Scariest or found the most?
Yeah, whatever you guys want to lead with.
I'll explain that I'm the skeptic, so people say when we're investigating, oh, I had this, and I'm like, did you debunk it? Did you do all this? I have to have hard evidence.
Okay.
And there's only been...
He's never scared.
Yeah, and I'll walk around these places just by myself, 3 o'clock in the morning. Everybody else is passed out. I'll just walk around. I don't care. Nice.
So nothing really scares you too much?
No. I haven't had anything like, holy crap, I have to get out of here. That kind of stuff.
Well, I have two scary places.
Okay.
And one of them, Brian was nice enough to go in it and lay down and sleep for a while. So at Waverly Hills Sanitarium.
See, that's my bucket list item. I need to get to Waverly Hills sometime.
It's big. It is big. There's so much.
So much space. Yeah, you need 2 nights there, pretty much.
Nice.
But the 5th floor is not really a whole floor. It's a room basically with changing rooms for nurses, and the elevator used to go up to it, I think. And there's a room there, 50. I don't remember the number. 502.
Yep.
Because it was a hospital, so every room had a number. 502 was a changing room for nurses, and there was a body there, years and years ago, of a nurse found hanging. And there's a lot of stories about scandal with one of the doctors on staff, or what actually had happened. But then years later, someone was shoved out the window of that same room.
Really?
And there's a lot of talk that was also the ghost, where the person was frightened. But so we went to that room. Everybody goes to that room. It's like the cherry on top of Waverly Hills.
Right.
And I found it. I don't think we really got any evidence there. But it was a long night, and there were a lot of us, and it was probably 3:30 in the morning. He literally fell asleep on the floor, like just laid on the concrete. And he was
I'm just in Waverly Hills, and hell, I'm just gonna take a nap right here on the floor.
Yeah,
Right?
it's a long drive there. It had a long night. And
And myself and another investigator are like perched in a windowsill with cameras pointed, taking photos, and she's like asking questions and recording EVP, and he's just like snoozing.
Wow.
So that was a scary place where we didn't get much evidence. But then a place where I wasn't necessarily frightened, but we actually did get some creepy evidence was Malvern Manor.
Okay.
Malvern, Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
Which it started out as like a hotel, I think. It was very near the train tracks.
Okay.
But then as the years went by, the train became less of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it became, I think, a hospital. It was a sanitarium for a while, and then I was thinking an old folks home. By the time we got there, of course, it had been abandoned for a long time. And there was a room where a woman who had multiple personalities had lived.
Okay.
And so there were lots of names that would be said in that room. People had recorded quite a bit. And we came in with a audio recorder and cameras. And we had set the audio recorder sitting up on a wheelchair. And we were recording, and everybody sat down. So there was nobody moving in the room. Recorder's like sitting up on the wheelchair, and Brian was talking to the spirit whose name I forget, because I'm bad with names too. And he asked a question. He said, "You can go near that light or say something to us." And right as he said, "Go near that light," the recorder just tipped over.
Oh wow!
Just fell right, and you could see it on camera. It just fell right over. And then he got up and he set it back up again, and he stomped on the floor and walked around, and it just stayed.
I was just gonna say, as a skeptic,
Yeah.
were you like, that's just gravity?
I still have a hard time with that one. I still have a hard time with
it matters, but I think
even after I did
something.
all the stomping and, waving my hand around, see if I can, because at the time that I did it, like I'm going like moving my arm to point to someone that was across from us, and then it tipped over. So I'm like, somehow I made this huge gust of wind.
Your hands are that big.
Yeah.
But I think that was really cool evidence. And that place, I think other people, Patty and I, were in a room. Ryan Buell from Paranormal State had investigated, just not right before us, but some months before us, had been there. And there was a room with a closet where he had set up this weird mirror. He does weird mirror stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so Patty and I were recording EVP in there, and we got all kinds of weird audio fluctuations on the recording. Because Patty was speaking to, there were 2 children that had died there, and she's really good. She's just a nice person.
Mm-hmm.
But she was speaking gently and kindly, and trying to bring out the children's spirits. And I think something was going on. I don't know what, but
very cool.
That place was.
Now the mirror technique, that's scrying, right? Yeah.
She could probably talk about that actually.
Oh, very cool.
Me, if you want us to switch.
You can finish up here, and then we'll round back to it's scrying, right? Scrying or scribing.
It depends. So you can scry in a mirror, which is to look for oracles or signs or messages. But mirrors are also considered to be portals, which means that if you're trying to reach spirits, there might be some way for you to bring them forth more that way. There's a lot of things you can do with mirror magic, but that's
very cool.
Aside from
yeah. We'll definitely talk about that here in a little bit. Any other cool places or?
The couple that I've had that that have stuck in my head as something was 2 of them at Edinburgh Manor in Iowa. I can't remember the back history. It was probably another, sanitarium. Most of them are.
It's out in the middle of not nowhere, but it's very remote, very rural. What was that?
That's
yes,
right.
That's right.
Yeah,
in Iowa.
they usually start as a poor farm or sanitarium or
It goes poor farm, sanitarium,
old folks home,
mental home, nursing home, abandoned building.
Yeah,
there you go.
It's usually the progression of them.
Very cool.
But Mary and I were investigating, I think, on the second floor, and the room had, a bed in it and a dresser and a light, or not light, a mirror, again with the mirrors. And so we walked in, and all of a sudden I saw like a ball of fire like come out the side of my vision.
Wow.
And I'm like, what was that? I was wearing a headlamp at the time so we could see, so I thought it was that bouncing
just
off
kind of a glare
mirror.
coming off somewhere.
So I'm like looking like an idiot dancing around in the mirror.
He tries to recreate everything.
Yeah, trying to recreate it, whatever I could do. But I could not get like that to refocus itself. So I feel that was something. And I've never seen like that again, where it was, fiery and white and just,
yeah.
I've never seen that again.
I've had some light anomalies happen where it kind of looks like a mini firework went off. And, they say that is, a spirit's trying to, generate energy to manifest in front of you. But it was really weird. It looked like, like a big downtown firework, but it was like miniature size, like right in the middle of the room. And, at first I'm like thinking I'm just fucking crazy, right? And then, then I started doing a little bit more, learning on this kind of stuff. And it's like, wow, this isn't the first time this has happened. This is actually, something that happened. So if you've seen like a fireball just kind of shoot out, something was definitely trying to manifest or tried to catch your attention at least.
Right. And unfortunately, we didn't get anything else in that room. Like we thought we were. I think that was where we debunked, like, because we have, smart watches.
Oh, yeah.
We were getting a lot of interference on the
Don't
EMF.
hold the EMF detector in your hand if you're wearing a Fitbit
Yep.
or a smartwatch.
Exactly.
So yeah, we learned that there. So we kind of, figured that out. But the other thing I could not recreate.
Very cool.
And also in that place, in one of the rooms, there's a lady who was assaulted by one of the orderlies back in the day. And so they say that she's still there, suffering. And it was me, Mary, and a couple other people were in that room. And we were just, asking questions. And the light we were using starts flickering. So we start asking more questions. And it seems like it was responding to us.
Oh,
when
with
we were asking
the lights flickering?
Yeah, so we started, yes, no, flicker, and
Or like turn off if this is true, and it would
Yeah.
turn off. And then somebody
Really?
would say turn the light on if it's not just, and then the light would flick on. And
yeah, it was
Holy
like
cow.
more than
right
one
on key.
time
They would
out there.
do it.
Holy smokes.
The guides actually at Edinburgh also did that with us. When you first show up, you get like a tour of the facility, and they tell you kind of the history of it. And then they sat all of us together in like, I think it was the dining room, and they put a flashlight on either end of the room, and they started to do that. They started to ask questions, and these lights were flickering strangely, but we were like, well, those are their flashlights, we're not buying it.
Yeah, they
Everybody's a
like
skeptic
twisted
here.
them so they were
Sometimes.
just barely not, making the connection.
Yeah.
And then
But
all
then
of a
it
sudden,
happened-
they would start
Happened
coming
to
on.
us again later. So I don't know if maybe those spirits are just getting good at,
Yeah.
flicking lights.
Hey, we were. I don't know if you guys are aware, but there's been like all these like live feeds on of paranormal places. There was the Conjuring House. It was on the Dark Zone TV. It's a website out there, and they did a live feed for 7 days at the Conjuring House. Ran 24 hours. You could flip through different cameras and stuff, and people were so pissed off like the first couple of days because nothing was happening. And it's like, you can't make these ghosts do these things.
It's not a parlor trick.
Yeah, exactly. They're not circus animals, right? They're you can't just crack a whip and they're gonna start doing stuff. But it's pretty cool though that if at this house that they were actually kind of on command a little. Yeah,
right.
A little bit.
And and that's what we found. Like when we went to Waverly for our group, we really didn't find anything. It really depends on where you are. We had to split into how many? 4 groups? Yeah, that one we had a big group.
Like 5 floors
Mm-hmm.
and 2 big long wings on each floor. So I don't even know that we necessarily got to every single inch of the place as individuals, but our group didn't collect a lot there. I think other groups might have. There was a group that joined us from out of state who I think got something there, but I don't recall.
Very cool. So is Waverly the farthest out you guys have gone?
I think so.
Yeah. I think for the most part we stay 6. I think 6 hours is the most we've ever gone.
It's been driving. We have only driven. But, I mean, I would love to go to some places like on the West Coast.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good stuff out there that...
I would love to do, my, ultimate one would be to do Winchester Mystery House.
Yes. Yeah.
We went there, last year, just, doing the tour.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't get anything, unfortunately, because I took pictures and
the day tour and the evening. There's a paranormal tour.
I was just gonna say, it kind of like how Tinker Swiss runs things. Well, they try to ignore the paranormal aspect during the day,
right?
But on a Saturday or Friday night, they're like, "This place is haunted," but don't dare ask if it's haunted during the day tour.
I mean, Winchester Mystery House, they kind of embrace it.
Yeah,
they'll tell you, they see things,
Well, they have a room at Winchester Mystery House where, because Mary Winchester had a thing for the number 13.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 13 panels on the flooring.
13 coat hangers. Yeah.
And she had a chandelier especially made with 13 lights on it because chandeliers are normally symmetrical.
Yeah.
This one's odd because she had to have 13.
Yeah.
They can't avoid the weird stigma.
Yeah. I was actually watching a bunch of stuff here of the Mystery House just the other day because that's going to be one of our episodes this coming up week, is we're going to talk about the Mystery House. So stay tuned for that as well. But it was just so weird how eccentric this lady was. How everything was 13s, stairways that led to nowhere, doors that open up to a 13-foot drop. Right, right outside.
Oh, yeah. She had a lot of motivation. And they just discovered another room, I think, since we were there in the attic.
Really?
They were taking walls out to refinish something, and they found wallpaper, very expensive wallpaper, that glittered because they didn't have glitter back then, but they actually smashed up Formica or crystal or something.
Really?
Pressed it into the pattern, and they found a wallpapered wall that nobody had known was there.
Yeah, because they have she had drainage systems that was before its time put in for plants that drained out into, it was in a room that drained out to the outside. She had the scrubbing tubs, for the washing, to where it was specifically molded with the ribbed part on the tubs.
Cool stuff. She had a room that had 4 fireplaces because she had really bad arthritis.
Mm-hmm.
Was it arthritis? She had rheumatoid arthritis, and the heat helped it. So she actually built a room in her house with all these fireplaces, and you just stood in it, and it was like a sauna. She'd light all the fires up and be in there and get it up to
That's crazy.
80, 90 degrees.
Yeah, because another thing with her arthritis is that she had a stairway put in, where it was these little bitty steps. It was 42 or some steps that it takes.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And you only go so far.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a place I want to.
I would love to have seen it, because the earthquake took down 2 floors because of the big earthquake that hit it.
Yeah.
I would love to have seen what those 2 floors were.
Yeah, I think that was 1906. I want to say that the earthquake happened, and she actually got locked into her room. She got trapped in her room.
Yeah, they'll let you. Now they let you go into that actual room that she was stuck in. Before they didn't, because I've done
and they
the
put
tour
an
a couple
earthquake
times.
sound effect, which probably messes with people from California, but I just think it sounds like a truck. People are like, ooh.
Yeah, California's
sounds like another day in Chicago.
Very cool. Yeah, because we're trying to, whenever this whole COVID thing, is done and out of the way, is we've been actually asked by the people that own the Conjuring House to come out and do a show and investigate from there. So I don't know if that would be something that you guys would be up for or anything like that, or if we team up and we could set something up and get out there. Because when they were doing that live video, we were actually doing daily podcast reviewing the stuff that they did during the day. And so the couple that owns the house, the Heinzen family, one day I was watching the 24-hour cameras, because I'm working from home, have nothing else to do. So I'm like just listening to what's going on in the house, and all of a sudden I heard my girlfriend talking on their cameras. I'm like, what the is going on here? And then I listen closely, and then I hear myself talking. They're actually listening to the podcast in the Conjuring House. And
nice.
Yeah, and we ended up becoming good friends with them during the process. And the husband walked around with a sign on the last day saying, "Subscribe to Ghost Freaking Talking." He walked to all the cameras and held out the cameras like that. So we were pumped to get out there to investigate the Conjuring House.
Yeah.
There was another local one that we did at the Lithuanian Club.
Oh, yeah.
They asked us to come in there, and we were going to do, or we did, kind of a tour with some of the patrons there.
Mm-hmm.
And we broke up into 3 different groups. And Mary and I's group, we went upstairs to their ballroom, and we set up, and we were just kind of talking, messing around, and trying to see if we can get anything on EVP. And then all of a sudden, in the back of that room, there was a loud slam.
It sounded like something fell.
Yeah, but there was no tables, there were no chairs, there was no nothing.
I couldn't find anything on the floor. I thought somebody was. I was like, "Who's over there?" Because I thought I had seen something like a shadow of a person, and there was 5 people running around, so I didn't think anything. But then when we heard that sound, I thought surely something had broken and we were in trouble. And I went and I looked all over the place, and there was nothing.
No,
it was everybody heard it.
Very cool.
That that seems pretty. I think we got a lot of stuff there.
Yeah. Do you guys just do this for fun, or do you guys actually get people that own homes and are like, can you guys come and investigate, but don't tell anyone that you're investigating?
That hasn't happened yet.
I think we've had a couple people reach out to us and ask us, but we haven't actually done it.
Okay. Yeah, because I was with Winnebago County Paranormal for a while, and basically it was a lot of people reached out to this group, and then we went into private residences and did hunts and stuff like that. But we had to sign waiver forms saying this doesn't go out anywhere. We don't talk about this and stuff like that. We just go in and investigate and let them know there's something here. Or the one thing we investigated was this little girl was seeing visions and stuff in her room, and we were doing some sweeps, and we were getting some heavy EMF by the head of her bed. So we moved everything out, and there was an old-timey clock, like a plug-in radio clock, and it was just pushing out so much EMF. And we're like, how about you get
plugged in?
Yeah, it was plugged in.
Oh.
So we think that the girl laying there at night, all that EMF, because it was pushing out tons of EMF, that it was messing with her head at night. And
your brain is electrical impulses.
Yeah.
So that's
so we said, at the end of the night, we're like, we don't think your house is haunted. We didn't get anything else out, and we're like, take this suggestion, take this clock out of there. And a couple months later, we met up with this family again. We're like, have you guys had any more stuff in there? And they're like, no, she hasn't had anything happen. I'm like, boom, debunked. Right. So have you guys have been to places and not gotten anything all night, and it's very disappointing.
Yes. You drive all that way, we're paying money to do this stuff, and you just don't get anything. You're like, well,
very
but
cool.
like we've said, you can't make the ghosts
Yeah,
appear.
exactly.
Maybe there wasn't enough energy. Whatever the case may be.
Very cool. How long have you guys been with this group, or how long has this group been around?
Oh gosh.
4 years. It was 2016.
December 20th, 1960.
1960.
Wow.
Before I was born.
1916. Oh, very cool. So, have you guys been with the group the entire time, or are you just kind of?
I joined up like 3 months after it started.
Okay.
And yeah, I've been with them since.
Okay. Very cool. So, has the paranormal always been a thing for you, or is it just something to get out and do, or were you inspired by Ghost Adventures?
Yeah, I mean, you watch those shows and you're like, I mean, some of them you're like, nah.
Yeah.
But those definitely like inspired me to want to have to investigate myself and see if I can get some of those things to happen to me. And then being the skeptic, then I'm like, oh, okay, well, I can see that now.
Yeah.
I've been a practicing pagan for about 25 years.
Okay.
Currently, I'm a devotional polytheist.
Yeah.
And a member of the Troth and ADF. So I've always been interested in the things that we cannot see.
Mm-hmm.
But the paranormal community, I thought, was a great opportunity to go places and like really get, roll up your sleeves and like get into it.
Mm-hmm.
Because, that's not a big part of practicing generally for everybody, the supernatural. But I think ancestor work is important to me. And
Okay.
I see this as a part of that. So
very cool.
That's my part anyway.
Nice. So how often do you guys get to go out and investigate?
We try and do it at least like twice a year. Usually one like right now, but we can't because
like
of
formal trips.
Yeah.
But I think we all kind of do our own little things here and there too.
Right.
Very cool. Yeah. So
and then we usually have one in fall or not fall, spring. We'll go out to another one.
Very cool. So do you guys ever have friends that you tell them, oh yeah, I'm part of this paranormal group, and they're like, well, first of all, you're crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But then
also you're gonna bring home demons, and
yeah,
they go down those roads. And
or those same people like a few months later are like, do you have your equipment? Can you come over to my house? Can you check something out for me?
The water and
right. Crazy, but can you help me?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Well, that's how because we're always looking for people to bring in their stories to the podcast, and our one of our slogans here is everyone has a story to tell, because even if you don't believe in the paranormal, everybody has that one story that they can't explain, and and paranormal is basically the definition of paranormal is something you can't explain. Right. So we've actually sat in this place. I think it was Christmas time around last year was our first podcast here. And this guy comes through, and because we try to flag him down at the door. We're like, you got any paranormal stories or anything? He's like, I don't believe in that stuff. He's like, I'm just here for the because there was some cookie run or something that going on. He's like, I'm just here for the cookies. And then like 10 minutes later, he's like, well, guys, there was this one time.
You give people a minute, they'll come up with one.
Yeah.
Right.
So when your skeptical friends are poo-pooing on your paranormal stuff, do you guys make it, how am I trying to word this? Are you guys aren't embarrassed of it?
No.
So,
I don't need to prove it to anybody. Like the things I've experienced, I have experienced. And as much as I would like to get proof just for it to exist and for me to review it, like I already know what I've seen. And I can't convince someone else, that an experience is real if they haven't had it themselves.
Okay.
Or they're scared to share it, like that one gentleman, or doesn't know that could be paranormal.
Yeah.
Or they have like a religious, reason to not be willing to think about it.
Okay.
Folks just don't go there, and that's fine. If they don't want to go there, they don't have to. But
because I've had some friends that were total like, oh my god, that's the dumbest thing ever, and then you show them something and they're like, that's odd. Right. Or they'll be at my house and because my girlfriend had never had a paranormal experience in her entire life, and I'm like, just be forewarned when you come over to my house. There's stuff happens, right? And the one night, because she had been over there a few times, and she's like, there's nothing happening here at this house or whatnot. And the one night we were standing in my kitchen, and I kind of seen this thing come running at me, like to the side of me, and I kind of put my arm down, because it was like a kid size, and you if you guys have had kids,
Block.
you have to do the blocking because they're going to give you a nut shot, right? So I kind of put my arm down like that because it's just a dad reflex, and then I look over and there's nothing there, and then I kind of look over at her. I'm like, "You saw something, didn't you?" And she goes, "I seen something, but I don't know what it was." So I'm like, "Boom, there you go." Yep. We're not totally crazy here.
No. Right. And I think that was back in the day when someone said that kind of stuff, you were taken, oh, you're nuts.
Yeah, you get locked up or hung.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and
but, it could have been true. They could have been having those experiences, and
and it seems
just didn't have the technology back
yeah,
then.
it seems like the paranormal is more accepted now, and I want to say it was due to like the Ghost Adventures, the Ghost Hunters.
Yep.
I don't think you can turn on the Travel Channel and not see a ghost show. I only think it's the Travel Channel anymore. I think it's just they should just call it the Ghost Channel, right?
Yeah.
So if you guys have any more stories, or you want to swipe out with some people, or
I think you could probably get some news stories from other people.
Yep.
Very cool. All right, guys. So thanks for hanging out and giving your awesome stories. It does look like we've had people popping into the chat here and on YouTube. Doc Sampson says, "Hey, the sun is out. All the vampires, and back to your graves." Yeah. Doc Sampson was he left. He's a fan of ours, and he left he was not impressed by our succubus episode the other day, which is well, we went down a few rabbit holes with the succubus, so I don't think it was a fan favorite. So
succubus or fan favorite at all.
Yeah, exactly. So if you guys want to swap out here, we'll bring some new blood in. While I'm taking a drink here, you guys, I'm going to put in a break in the podcast here. Check out Mr. Hinkle Draws on Etsy. Check out these awesome stickers. Buy the entire set and tell them that the Ghost Freaking Talking sent you. And the Ghost Freaking Talking love ya.
I'm getting ready to watch a video.
Really? What?
Oh, just some scary movie.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
I want to play a game. So you are afraid of something after all, huh?
What an excellent day for an exorcism.
It's alive. Oh, it's alive. It's alive. It's alive. It's alive.
What's the problem? Come on, I'll take you home.
Get your limited edition Halloween sticker series at Etsy.com. Shop Mr. Hinkle Draws. 10 designs to choose from Jason, Freddy, Ghostface, Carrie, Thriller Michael Jackson, Frankenstein's Monster and the Bride of Frankenstein, Billy the Puppet, Pennywise the Clown, and Reagan from The Exorcist. All right, so go and buy your Mr. Hinkle Draws Halloween stickers. Like I said, we have some of them here on hand today. These are really cool looking. He's got the heavy hitters like Jason and Freddy, and the one that I was surprised was Michael Jackson, Thriller. So go and get yours there. And if you guys are checking out us on YouTube, you can see this awesome mask that I'm wearing today. This is from the designer that did our logo, our Ghost Freaking Talking logo, Slow Death. So if you guys can go and give him a like on Instagram, give him some love and tell him that Ghost Freaking Talking sent you. So we appreciate everything Tyler does for us. He is working on a special project for our other YouTube channel, our more family-friendly YouTube channel, the Brickhead Family. So if you guys can, go and subscribe to the Brickhead Family on YouTube as well. All right, so we are back here at Wolf Hollow. We want to also thank Liz and Randy for having us back out here today. We are in Rockford, Illinois. I believe this is on State Street. I don't know the exact address. I think was it like 801? 8011? I don't know. But we are on State Street. If you guys know where Don Carter Lanes is, we are straight across the street from that. I believe Illinois Bank is over in the same area. So if you guys want to go check us out. If you guys are in the area and are watching, come and share your stories today. We have a tarot reader that will be on our second half of this show. That'll be interesting. I had a tarot reading here at the store a couple weeks ago, and he blew my mind because I poo-pooed on tarot readers and mediums like big time. But a couple of times I've been in the store with both a medium and a tarot reader, and they kind of
David?
Sky Watcher?
Yes.
Yes. Or as my son likes to call him, Skywalker.
He did a reading on me that was pretty much dead on.
Oh, he hit everything on me and my mom. So he, because my mom had a reading first, and then a spot opened up, and then I got a reading, and he hit everything on both of us.
My mom's passed, and she had dementia.
I just got to scoot up a little bit more.
Which means sometimes they're really mean.
Mm-hmm.
And he brought up that once she passed and realized the stuff she said, that she was ashamed of it and she was sorry. So he was dead on it. He's like, and she ran you every day, everything. It was never ending.
Very cool.
And I'm like, yeah.
Nice. And for my mom, she felt it was a little bit of closure because my dad passed a few years ago, and he came up in her reading and he came up in my reading as well. So she's like, well, it always makes her feel good to know that he's still around and stuff like that. But guys, go ahead and introduce yourself. I believe you were on our last live podcast as well.
Me and my granddaughter.
Yeah. So introduce yourself.
My name is Linda Montez, and I am chairperson of the UAW Local 1268 Paranormal Committee. And Patty's been a long-standing member too.
Very
She's
cool.
gone on a lot of the investigations, and she can tell you about the mirrors.
I really don't want to share that story.
You don't want to share that
Oh,
story?
come on.
Oh, okay.
All right. See, I talked her into it.
At Randolph Asylum, we were, as me and Linda and a former member, Alexandria, there's a huge mirror in there that did not belong to the asylum. Somebody brought it in there and left it. And they were using it for scrying, so it was like, okay, let's try this. And I saw some pretty scary things in the mirror that I wanted to get out real quick. And it's...
What things were you seeing?
Kind of I want to say it wasn't human.
Okay, like behind you, or was it?
Yeah,
because
like
I hear a lot of
image.
I hear a lot of these scrying where it like manipulates your own face to.
I didn't get that, but there was another being in the mirror image, and like I said, it wasn't human, and I'm like, these people are drawing demons. I don't know what they've done with this mirror. I'm out.
Oh wow!
And she's never like that.
I don't scare easily.
No.
She was up and out and said, "I'm done with this." And normally she's never like that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I was actually shaking when we left that room.
Really? So someone just brought this mirror in and just left it, huh?
Mm-hmm. Well, they were putting like baby powder on it and seeing if any fingerprints would appear, and just left it afterwards.
So who's to say that they didn't see what you saw and said, "Screw it, I don't want this mirror to come back with me."
I'm not taking Grandma's mirror back to her house right now.
Right. because the guy who played the old school Universal vampire, he actually has a mirror that Zach Baggins ended up getting, that they say that he saw demons and stuff come through that mirror as well. So I definitely think that there's definitely something that ties other worlds to coming through the mirrors like that. So have you had other experiences with scrying, or?
No, it's not for many years. I goofed around with it as a kid and just saw like orbs, but nothing concrete and solid.
Like the whole Bloody Mary thing, where
of course,
everyone's played the Bloody Mary thing. We were because this was for our other YouTube channel. It's more family friendly, and we do kind of fun family crazy stuff. And we did a 31 Days of Halloween on that channel a couple years ago, and we thought, we'll just make fun of the whole Bloody Mary thing. So where I was dressed up in my daddy brickhead get up, and I would be like, do the Bloody Mary thing, and then all of a sudden, like, I was holding a Bloody Mary in my hand instead of Bloody Mary come through. But I had this candle, because you're supposed to stand there with a candle and say Bloody Mary, and my candle kept going out. It kept blowing out. So I don't know if it was the spirit in our house was like, no, you guys shouldn't be doing this kind of stuff. So we had a few things happen that, and then we heard something in the living room being kicked around while we're filming. So we left the bathroom, and all of a sudden you could see our camera, because our camera's up on a tripod. After we leave the room, the camera turns, and you can hear it go click, 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 click. So something was not liking us messing with the mirrors in the bathroom. So I could definitely get that feeling of.
Since that experience, I kind of avoid doing the mirrors.
Very cool. So what have been some of your guys' favorite places to go, or?
I think Waverly.
Yeah.
Is mine.
Very cool.
The second trip to Waverly.
The second trip. I was walking down the hall, so she can probably tell the story better than I can, because I didn't see it. And I'm probably glad I didn't see it.
We had set up a grid light in a hallway, and one of our members said, Linda, I dare you to walk down to the end of the hallway.
Alone.
And she went, okay. And she was walking, and her shadow was in front of her, but there was another shadow next to her in the grids.
Oh, wow.
And I told her, Linda, you're not alone here.
And that's always the best feeling to have too, right? And just when somebody's like, you over there, you're not by yourself.
Whatever it was, though, I didn't feel afraid of it.
No. It wasn't putting off a negative energy towards you?
No, I had never felt anything negative at Waverly.
Really? Have you guys ever been to a place where you've had negative feelings?
I think the only time I felt anything negative was in the basement of Randolph Asylum. Remember that picture that I showed you in the last?
Yeah.
They took this big, heavy door and they slid it. And it's like right after that, it just felt dark in there. And whatever was down there was mad that we shut that door. It was just over and over. Why did you shut that door in my mind? Why did you shut that door? And then once they opened it back up, it felt a little better, but not as good.
Oh, wow.
And that's exactly where that picture was taken that showed up that the apparition on there.
Wow, crazy. Now, with all the places you guys have gone, have anybody ever been physically touched, scratched, pushed, shoved?
No.
Nothing?
No.
Because I'll maybe someday I'll show you guys. But in my house, my ex-wife used to get scratched all the time in the house. It just blows my mind, when I ask people, they've gone to these crazy places. Have you ever been touched? Ever been scratched? And then, here we are just at my lowly house, and she has like scars from how deep these scratches have gotten on her.
Oh wow, no, we've never had anything like that. And at Waverly, The one that kept coming to me was Timmy, the little boy that's supposedly there. And it was in August. It was hot. And I would say, hey, Timmy, if you're there, you can come be with me. I said, my name's Linda. Oh, yeah, those are some major ones. Scratches.
Yeah, these are scratches that were on her leg.
My name's Linda, but I said, you can call me Mimi. I said, that's what my granddaughter calls me. And anytime I would say, you can call me Mimi, I would get like a shiver.
Oh, wow.
And that. So then when we went back the second time, I asked him, do you remember me? I said, last time I was here, I said, you could call me Mimi. And I got a chill off in that, too.
Oh, wow. This is the only time I've ever been scratched.
Oh, wow.
I was standing at my sink doing dishes, and my son was sitting at the kitchen table doing homework. And he looks over at me. He goes, Dad, he goes, do you feel something on the back of your head? I'm like, I don't feel anything. He's like, I'm seeing red marks show up on the back. He's like, it was like nothing there, and then he's actually seeing watching it happen. So I kind of, with the soapy water, I kind of put my hand on the back of my head, and all of a sudden it's just stung, right? And it ended up bleeding. But I know for sure I did not scratch my head. Otherwise, my head would have been wet because I was doing dishes. And he swears, he goes, Dad, those scratches were not there. And he goes, I seen it actually happen. So it's just crazy how you could go to those places like Waverly Hills and stuff like that, and you guys just, no one got pushed or shoved or you guys have never felt any like hand on you or.
Once I thought I felt something move my ponytail because I have very long hair.
Mm-hmm.
And it felt like my ponytail moved, but I just debunked it as, okay, somebody behind me was breathing hard. It could have been, but I can't prove it.
Very, very cool. Have you guys done anything locally here?
Brian said, the Rockford Lithuanian Club, we actually did a fundraiser for them. They said that they were having, some weird things going on there. And one of the employees at Chrysler was like, hey, get a hold of Linda. And so we went out one day and, we had things happen. We were upstairs by the second kitchen. And they said, every once in a while we hear a noise. And it was almost like someone tapped on the pipe. It went ting, ting, ting. Like, okay, we're here. And there was just a lot of activity. Nothing really scary, but just little noises. And like Mary and Brian said, noises up on the stage.
Very cool. Yeah, me and my son, we were just trying to kill some time because we had an event that was happening at the Veterans Memorial downtown.
Oh, we've been there too.
Yeah, I know that place. As soon as I walked in the door, you just feel that energy that's in there. Because I don't know if you guys get it or anything, but I don't know if it's just because I live in something that has energy in it all the time, that I could go into certain places, and as soon as I walk in the door, I feel it like raises the hairs on my arm. Like it's like a sense that you get when you walk into a place. And as soon as I walked into that vestibule area on the Veterans Memorial, it just hit you like a ton of bricks. Kind of like the fountain area when you first walk into Tinker Swiss. Have you guys been through Tinker Swiss?
I haven't. I have. Brian has, though.
As soon as you walk into that fountain area, that seems to be the heavier energy for me. That place and the red room upstairs, I get a major feeling up there as well. But we went to the parking garage across the street from Coronado is supposedly haunted. There's been news stories on it, to where police have been called there in the middle of the night because there's glass elevators in there, and people have said that they've seen a lady in white in these elevators going up and down in the middle of the night, and they go there and there's nobody there. Me and my son were just trying to kill some time. We went because I had my SB11, so we went up, into the top floor of the parking garage. We went up there, and we actually got a couple of voices, like a deep male menacing voice and like an innocent female voice. And while we were trying to, we're like, okay, we're gonna go now. So we went to go walk into the elevator, and the female voice said, "Wait." It was waiting, because it wanted to get in the elevator with us. It didn't want to be up there with whatever was up in that top floor.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah, it was. And then we had some pretty good activity with the SB11 at that place. So I don't know if you guys ever just kind of just see a place and you're like, all right, I've heard about something happening here, so I'll just go. Maybe you just have a day off or something and just want to investigate it.
We usually try to get a little bit of history on it, any place we go to, but we don't want too much information on it that might contaminate our investigation.
We don't want to go in with preconceived notions of what's going to happen.
Okay.
We leave that part out of it.
Very
Some
cool.
of the history we do.
Like a few names we want to know, like if they died there, but we don't want to hear like a lot of people's experiences and that, because we don't want that to try to form an idea in our head that it's going to happen. But we could probably get into the Veterans Hall again if you ever want to do a podcast.
Oh, definitely. That's definitely one of the places, because just the energy, like I said, I felt when I walked in there, because I think Kathy Crystal was doing a speech there that night, and me and my son just went there to go and hear some of the haunted histories of Rockford and stuff like that.
Because we have a veterans committee at Chrysler also, so we do a lot of things with there, and you could probably get a hold of them and
very cool.
set something up. And we do actually have a good story from Wolf Hollow here. It was last year. Patty and I came here. I cannot remember the lady's name. She was a medium, and she just kind of talked.
Sarah
something. See, she's better with me. I'm kind of like you. I forget everything.
Right.
And there was this young lady in here with her brother, and she was very upset. She lost like her 15-year-old son, and just couldn't get over it. And she cried and cried through it, and Patty tried to console her, and she was just unconsolable. And she said that he would come to her family in their dreams, but she was like, he never comes to me in my dreams. And the medium said, well, you gotta kind of look for other things. A song on the radio. She goes, well, some of his songs played the other day, but I didn't really think anything of it. And Patty's like, it's not going to come out and like smack you upside of the head.
You got to look for the subtle signs.
Well, maybe it could, but after a while, her brother kept telling her he wouldn't want you to live like this. And then finally he said, Day-Day wouldn't want you to be this sad. And I said, what did you say? And he said, oh, his nickname was Day-Day.
Whoa.
And I said, do you want to see a sign? And he kind of looked and she kind of looked.
Oh.
Tattoo there.
Oh, wow.
It says Day-Day.
Yeah.
This is my grandson. His nickname is Day-Day. And her brother was like, do you need any more proof?
Wow.
And she still just kind of didn't want to believe it. And like Patty said, you got to consider there's only like a dozen people here from all over, and we're sitting next to somebody that her son's nickname was Day-Day, and I have a tattoo that says Day-Day.
Yeah.
The chances of us crossing.
Definitely. That's nuts.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Everyone just has to keep their eyes open for signs like that. I do know, like my brother passed away, and at his funeral they played the Here I Go Again on My Own from Whitesnake, and every time I hear that song by Whitesnake being played on the radio, something always seems to happen right afterwards. So that's kind of like that sign. He's giving you a sign. He's like, oh, I'm gonna be doing something. Just pay attention. You know, here's my song. Then something happens. So just keep your eyes open to these signs. And I do have a comment in the chat here. Ask about the superintendent's office at Melbourne Manor for a funny story.
I don't remember the superintendent's office.
Oh, is that Colton? Okay. Brian, Mary, and Colton were in the superintendent's office. And myself, Alexandria, and you were there too, weren't you?
I was downstairs, or I was upstairs with Mary and Krista.
And I was walking down the hall, and just about that time, Colton came around the corner. And I screamed so loud. They heard me on the upper floors. And
yeah, it echoed in there. We're like, what happened?
My friend Alexandria just kind of dropped to the floor in this fetal position. So now we say her spirit animal's a fainting goat. So we're all laughing. And I think Mary was like, your scream vibrated my soul just a little bit. And we thought, could you imagine if somebody was just casually walking by and heard my blood-curdling scream?
Jeez.
So we do have some fun stories, too. It's not...
Yeah.
Like, on purpose, he jumped down, tried to scare
Yeah. It just happened to be, and then...
see where they were, and
it just happened to be right there.
And I have like this, and we had walkie-talkies, so we radioed upstairs to Krissa. We're like, did you hear anybody scream? And she's like, yeah.
Yeah, we not only heard it, we felt it.
I do. I get really scared. I will like scream bloody murder, and it was so funny.
Do you guys have anyone in your guys' group that you guys make them do all the like crazy stuff? Like if there's like a small hole in the wall, you make them crawl into it, or anything like that?
Brian can't. He's 6'4", so no.
Because when I was with Winnebago County Paranormal, it seemed like I was always the guy that, there's this weird little door in the attic. Nick, go up there with the camera and recorder and get in there.
Do it.
Yeah?
I would probably do it, but I don't like the mirrors, so that's one thing I won't do. But Melbourne Manor, it's a really small town, kind of like Belvedere type small town.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like some of them don't like the publicity of Melbourne Manor. So we went across the street to eat, and Brian sticks out just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. I mean, if
not that he's like 6'4", but maybe the mohawk that makes him like 7 foot. Yeah.
Yeah. So everybody's like looking at us. I'm like, why are they looking at us? Brian's like, I'm 6'4" with a mohawk. I kind of stand out a little bit. They know we're not from around here.
All right. Oh, that's awesome. We just recently did an episode on the Beast of Bray Road. I don't know if you guys are aware. Yeah, of in Wisconsin, Elkhorn, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever wanted to go out and investigate something like outside? You know,
yeah.
where
We have.
what have you guys done?
We've done Bloody Bride's Bridge. What was some of the other ones? It was Red Bridge.
Oh, that was Blood's Point.
Blood's Point.
Well, it's actually Pool Road there.
Yeah, Pool Road, Blood's Point.
By the tracks going over Pool Road.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, because when we were here talking to people for stories last time, we had some kids come in and said that they had some Blood's Point Road stuff happen to them. Anything like what happened at Blood's Point?
It was a mist that like showed up when we were out there because I made Colin climb to the top of the railroad bridge because he was the youngest. And when he came down, he was goofing off and acted like he was going to slap me. And just about that time, this white mist crossed right in front of him.
Very cool. And this was at night, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
so,
yeah. It was like Halloween night. My kids were at home. It was like I'm out running the streets.
All right, so Halloween night on Bloods Point Road, you would think there had been a ton of people out there.
You got to be careful because people will, like, call the cops on you.
Yeah.
Because there's been vandalism, which, of course, we would never do. But, I mean, there's a lot of roads that you can go on. Did you review the footage of Collinsville?
Is that the one that you sent?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
all that murmuring in the background.
Uh-huh.
That was only at that point.
Yeah, that one gate.
Gate 5.
Yeah.
We went through. You're supposed to go through all the gates of hell, and then if you pass through the last one at midnight, you're supposed to open a portal. But we were there at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, these gates are railroad trestles where the railroad tracks go over.
Yeah. And it was like you could hear voices all around us, but they all stayed at the same monotone. If it was like people that maybe were outside in their yard having a fire, you would think their voices
would
have
fluctuate.
Octaves.
Yeah.
But all we heard was all this murmuring, and then we heard like a bang, and that's when you hear me saying, "We're getting the F out of here."
Yeah, because that's the one downfall is you have all these cool places like outside, but just the audio stuff, the contamination that comes in is just so bad. We went out I was out in New Jersey. I was on Clinton Road. It's supposed to be one of the supposed to be one of the most haunted roads in America. And we went out there. It was probably like midnight or whatever. And, I had cameras out and stuff like that. And just the audio contamination, out there. It's like, okay, I hear something. But is it a bar that's like down the road? Something reverbing off this river that we're standing on this bridge? Yeah, exactly. So it's always hard to...
That was the only one that we heard that on all the gates. And then we can blast Janet Golano because we were at one of the bridges and she's like looking downward and she's like, Linda, there's somebody down in that ditch with a flashlight. And I'm looking down it. I'm like, I don't see anything. She goes, there's a light right there. Look at it. And I'm like, I'm not seeing anything. She's like, you dummy, right down there. So I'm like, looking.
We're all looking, trying to see.
And I said, that's the reflection of the moon in some water. Sorry, Janet. I love you, though.
That's awesome. That's so you guys have a pretty good, tight group. How many in the group, would you say?
There's right now about 10. We've got a couple other people that might want to join, but with the whole pandemic thing, the UAW hall isn't allowing like gatherings, so we haven't had a membership meeting since like March. So we're not really doing anything now, but hopefully in the future.
And especially now since here in the part of Illinois that we're in, we are back to square one with everything being shut down here for the COVID stuff. I believe it started today.
Yeah.
Restaurants, you can't go and inside to eat. Bars are closed. And so, but luckily enough, it's not shutting down small businesses like Wolf Hollow this time because they were shut down for 3 or 4 months.
Long.
Yeah.
I didn't get my wax melt. I love the cemetery stroll. It smells like rain, dirt, and lilacs.
There you go. So
and my daughter-in-law's like, yeah, I believe you would like that.
So if you guys want to come get some awesome melts, come down to Wolf Hollow here on State Street in Rockford, Illinois, or write to them. I'm pretty sure if you write to them and like, I heard about these melts. Can you ship these out to us? Maybe they'll get something out like that. We have a comment. There is an original ghost hunter channel in Indonesia called Sandelberg TV. So we got somebody overseas in Indonesia.
Wow.
Checking out the podcast today. So thank you very much for checking us out. Yono, and I just butchered that. Thank you for checking out the podcast today. Do you guys have any other stories that you want to share here today? Or
not that I can think of, but once the pandemic slows down, maybe next spring we can get a trip to Waverly.
Oh, very cool.
And they do have a bunkhouse on site that I think it's like an extra $250. But I don't remember how many bunk beds are in there.
8 in each room. There's 2 rooms.
Okay.
So it could sleep 16 people in there.
Oh, very cool.
So,
yeah, definitely.
And it's right at the end of the death tunnel.
Oh, nice.
So I would recommend, doing the overnight tour and then crashing in the bunkhouse for a little bit.
Yeah.
Especially with them, because for whatever reason, that one, they kick you out at like 4 a.m.
Really?
Yeah. So that's why, you're very sleep deprived.
Okay.
Yeah, drive 6 hours there, investigate for 8 hours, and then they want you to leave. No.
Yeah, that sucks.
We need to sleep.
Oh, wow. Yeah, because I know with like the Conjuring House, because I was talking to them, because that's in Rhode Island, Connecticut, somewhere along on the East Coast there, and you get the entire house for 24 to 48 hours, wherever.
Oh,
yeah,
we would
so
love that.
so you can sleep in the house. Anything in the house, it's yours for that amount of time. So
we'd love it.
That would be so cool.
And like I said, definitely once all this pandemic stuff shakes out and whatnot, maybe we can get together and talk about heading out there.
We're down.
Very cool. I know I got a friend that lives in Connecticut. He's only a couple hours away from it, so he's like, I'm down. So he's actually the guy that did these awesome stickers, Mr. Hinkle Draws, and we did an interview because he kicked off our 31 days. We launched these, and we did an interview with him, and I'm like, dude, I thought you said your wife wasn't going to let you go to the Conjuring House, and he goes, dude, I'm just going to tell her I'm going to Target for 6, 8, 9, 12 hours. He goes, I just got to come home with a Target bag.
With a pack of gum.
Because originally his wife said, well, if you go, you're never stepping foot back into this house.
Oh, no.
Yeah, my husband is a little worried that I'm going to bring something home.
Yeah, so have you guys, I know a lot of hunters and that either wear medallions to ward things off from coming back with them, or certain things that they do at the end of the night. Is there anything you guys do specifically with your
we
group?
We always say goodbye.
Say goodbye and tell them that they can't come home with us. And we do use sage and
I carry
different crystals.
And
very cool. So you guys have never brought anything home?
No, my only lasting thing was the second trip to Waverly when we had so much activity. I think it messed with me physically because I was violently ill the next morning. And, well, we're still in the bunkhouse. And then we left and went to McDonald's to get something to eat. I started feeling better. By the time we pulled out of Louisville, I was fine.
Really?
Completely fine.
She vomited. She was that sick.
Holy cow.
Yeah, like I said, violently ill while we're there, but then completely fine afterwards.
That's crazy. I had an instance after an investigation one night with Winnebago County. I got in my truck and I felt something like sit down next to me because it made the truck kind of go vroom. And I'm like, nope, you can't come with me. I'm like, I have enough at my house. I don't need another one.
Yeah,
we went to Garden of the Gods like a month ago, and myself, Patty, and Janet stayed in a cabin, and we were all kind of tired and didn't think anything of it. Well, the next morning we started talking, and Janet's like, why don't you guys just come in and use the bathroom instead of giggling like two little girls?
Or turn the light on next time. So
yeah. She said out loud, just turn on the light and come in. And she says, I didn't hear anything after that. We were both in the bunk upstairs.
Yeah, they have a loft with 2 beds upstairs and a bedroom with one big bed downstairs. Janet was downstairs. Linda and I were upstairs. We all heard things, like trying to walk into the bathroom. walking up and down the stairs.
She thought I went back downstairs to go to the bathroom, and I said, no, I just stayed in bed. And when I was laying in the one bed, it felt like something was like tugging on the blanket. And I almost felt like something on the mattress. I was tired, and I finally said, I've got insomnia. I'm trying to sleep. Will you just knock it off? And then I fell asleep, and we compared notes next day, and we're like, no, Patty went to bed shortly after you did, and Linda stayed up. But
yeah, we all thought the other one just got up to use the bathroom, and that's why the stairs are creaking. No big deal. But none of us moved.
No, that's nuts. All right, guys, we've got about 5 more minutes here until the 1:30 mark. Then we're going to take about a half-hour break and then bring in Skywatcher for awesome talking tarot. But I want to thank the UAW paranormal team here for actually, you guys dropped off a couple of awesome hats. Check this out. We got some swag here. That's some high quality stuff there, guys. We appreciate that. Yeah, definitely. I want to keep in touch with you guys.
Yes.
Because Winnebago County Paranormal is debunked now. We are no longer together. So I am very much looking to maybe tag along with you guys maybe sometime.
We'd be happy.
If possible.
Yeah, we usually have room for a couple more on our trips.
Very cool. If anything, just to kind of document maybe one of your guys' trips and do a little YouTube video on it or something.
We would love it.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Very cool, guys. So I want to thank you guys for stopping in today. Do you guys have somewhere you guys can get reached? Like you guys have a YouTube, or like a Facebook page or Instagram or?
We do have a Facebook page.
A Facebook page? Yeah. I believe it would probably be just underneath the UAW 1268 Paranormal. So yeah. Here we go.
Here's my contact info.
Awesome. Yeah. So guys, go out and check them out. You can also email them at Linda Montes at uaw1268.org. So go on and check these guys out. I want to appreciate you guys for coming in. And I was actually worried because usually I have a teammate here. And so it's kind of like, okay, I'm doing this on my own. I'm like, usually I struggle that, but you guys came in here and filled out my entire time. So I appreciate that. I had so much stuff lined up on my phone. I'm like, what am I going to talk about? I'm like, history of why do kids wear costumes? Like, okay, turnips. Okay, turnips were jack-o'-lanterns before jack-o'-lanterns were jack-o'-lanterns. I'm like, how much stuff can I dig up? So I appreciate you guys for coming in here and filling up this time for me today. It's really been
so happy to be invited.
Yeah, and it was really cool. You brought the whole entire crew today.
There's more on the committee, but
very cool.
This is what was available.
Because she came in first, and I'm like, okay, so and then we had another person come in, and it's another person. I'm like, we got a whole entire crew. This is kind of cool. I'm not gonna have to worry about trying to fill in time here, guys. So I really appreciate it. If you guys definitely next time, because they'll probably have us back here again. So if you guys have any more experiences or anything like that, or you guys forget to tell me something this time around, you guys can always come in and share your awesome stories with us.
Thank you.
So if you guys can, make sure to check us out wherever you get your podcast. We just now got picked up by iHeartRadio. That's right. iHeartRadio is now home of Ghost Freaking Talking. You can also find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher Radio. We're reaching out everywhere, and especially here on YouTube. If you want to see my beautiful face, or half of my beautiful face, what's rocking today, or this awesome mask from Slow Death, make sure to check us out on YouTube. Give us a like, give us a comment on our videos, and stay tuned. We are doing 31 days of Halloween. And so this was a good episode. Like I said, this will probably drop on Sunday afternoon. So if you guys want to check us out wherever you download your podcast, go ahead and do that. All right, guys. Well, I am Nick, and thank you once again for the UAW 1268 Paranormal team. And to Liz and Randy from Wolf Hollow for hosting us here today. And make sure to also check out, we do have a merch shop. If you guys want to get an awesome Ghost Freaking Talking t-shirt, we got dog bandanas, we have coffee cups. Boom, check it out. We got those out there. You guys can go and brand yourself with Ghost Freaking Talking gear. And as always, guys, everyone has a story to tell. And if you do have a story to tell, ghostft@yahoo.com. Write your stories. We will read them right here on the podcast. And we may or may not make fun of you. I don't know. Depends on how the day goes. All right, guys. As always, stay spooky. All right, guys. See you later.